All right, so welcome everyone. Welcome to another exciting day, at least for us at RaySearch, as we would like to invite you to another session into our RaySearch Webinars, as we call it, an expertise-driven community. So, welcome everyone. Please come by, join the webinar. We have a couple of more minutes to let everyone come in. But while everyone is joining, let me say a couple of words why we are here and what we're going to do here today. So, basically, we're going to combine two words or two letters, excuse me, A and I. That translates into artificial intelligence, AI. So that's what we're going to do today. And we're going to expand these two letters, AI, into two sessions over the same webinar series. So we'll talk about artificial intelligence in cancer care, starting this webinar session today, and then having another session next week, which we really hope you're going to join as well. But the main goal for our community is, of course, to build an active one so everyone can speak up, everyone can have their voice, and we would just like to know you better. So before introducing ourselves, let me ask you a little bit about you and how you are and how you're feeling. Because what we will do today, a bit differently that we haven't tried before, is we will have these live polls and live questions so you can all have your opportunity to express and have your voice active. So let's start with the very first one and then just to see how you all feeling today. So you have these options to choose. Do you feel normal? Do you feel excited? Do you feel scared of AI? Hopefully not, or hopefully not after the session. Or you are curious. If you would ask me, I would say that I'm feeling excited, very curious, and not wouldn't say normal, but yeah, excited and curious. And I can see myself here that most of you are also feeling curious, so we are aligned. So that's good to know. So, yeah, so that's a bit of information about you that we are super curious to know more. But then, if we go back to our presentation and our session, so what we will have today is our two lovely presenters. So, let me introduce you to Fredrik, who is our Director of Machine Learning. Hello, Fredrik.
Hello, Marta.
Yes, and we also have Grietsje, who is our group manager and machine learning clinical specialist, who's going to be the second presenter of this webinar. Hi, Grietsje.
Hello.
Yes. My name is Morta. I haven't introduced myself, but I'm just going to be here to moderate and to make everything go smooth and to answer as many questions as possible. So that's my role today. But we also have more people joining us. And for that, we invited three experts from our research. So we have Marcella, who is our clinical specialist at machine learning clinical team. Hello, Marcella. We also have Anna, who's our machine learning engineer and functionality owner for deep learning segmentation. And then we also have Jason, who is our quality assurance specialist. So it's the entire team behind the screens here for all of you to answer questions, give you content, have fun, and just enjoy time together. So that's the team. So we're gonna about to start, but before another quiz time and another poll time. So let's see more of where we stand when we talk about AI and what of the application and areas you usually use for AI. So we would like to know in which area of medical imaging do you use artificial intelligence in your practice? And this is a multiple choice question, so you can choose more than one. And the options we have for you today, it's either diagnostics, so for disease detection and image interpretation, radiotherapy, which I believe it's the majority of us here today. Also prognostics and precision imaging, imaging workflow automation, other applications, or maybe you just don't use AI at all. All right, so I'm very happy to see that many of you are active and answering these ones. That's great. All right, so let's see the results. And they're not surprising at all. We see that many of the majority of us here are in the radiotherapy field, which is great because that's also our focus. All right, great. So without further ado, let's go to the content and let's see and let's hear what we have to say here. And for that, I will like to hand it over to you, Fredrik, and to your part. Good luck, and let's keep the conversation going.
Great, thanks, Marta, and thanks everyone for joining this webinar and for being active in the polls. I can assure you there will be a few more polls along the line here. So I'm going to start presenting an introduction to AI and healthcare partners in progress. I will then hand over to Grietsje in the middle of the webinar, and then towards the end I will do some outro slides, so to speak, that will look a bit more further ahead. So, starting with the background, future meltdown in healthcare coming closer. Okay, that's a little bit of a doomsday title, but where we are going now, what we are seeing is aging populations. We see more chronic health diseases, and we also see shortage of healthcare providers. And there are some numbers here, some examples of Germany is struggling with succession planning, and we also have burnout and stress for healthcare providers. And there is, I mean, a forecast, and there are on the horizon, we see a problem with jobs needed, and all this combined means that we need to find ways to make things more efficient and to use technology, and that's what this is all about. So AI in healthcare is part of this solution, because with AI-driven solutions, we can automate and streamline many tasks that healthcare providers can handle daily. And then with that automation, you free up some time, and then you can use that for other areas. And in a recent report from Corti AI, I mean, a big chunk of healthcare providers would say that they would spend this time or this extra time on direct patient care to this and reduce stress levels. So by automating certain workflows, that time can go to these things. And we also see that AI in healthcare has already now, I mean, a quite big clinical adoption. I will come back to that, but 74% using AI in daily practice. So how can we as a vendor in this field, a medtech company, how can RaySearch respond to this untapped AI potential? And we will talk about this today and from both a wider perspective and also how we develop our tools and where we are on this journey. But taking a step back first, just to, I mean, put us at the same context level, so to speak. So what is machine learning? And one view is that AI is the wide concept of intelligent behavior machines. Machine learning is a subset where we train models on different data sets, such as in radiotherapy, RI contours, dose distributions, and so on. And deep learning is then a subset. It's about neural networks. And I mean, as of today, and since many years, we are focusing on deep learning methods, primarily in radiation oncology. So why is AI for medical images happening now? So with this kind of definition on the previous slide, AI, that means also machine learning, deep learning. But why is this happening now? So there's a few major, I mean, milestones in recent years. And I think one of the major ones that came up in 2012 is AlexNet. Convolutional neural network, CNN, won this ImageNet challenge by far. So this was really a turnaround moment where deep learning came out and showed it's a kind of potential of power on images. Then a few years later, Ronneberger and et al. Publishes UNet, so that's a CNN focused on image segmentation. And this paper and this technology with the UNet CNN has proven to be super useful for medical image segmentation, and that is still used today by us and by many others. Combined with these kind of deep learning breakthroughs, we have exponential growth in compute power. No one has missed the NVIDIA kind of journey in the recent years. And in addition to that, in healthcare, we have an exponential increase in medical image data. And there are analysts saying that around a third of all data in the world today is generated in healthcare, and it's kind of growing. So you have the kind of technology, you have the compute power, you have the data, and there is the need based on the stress situation in healthcare. So this is, I think, main reasons to why AI in medical imaging is happening today. So in 2017, we established a machine learning department, and we are now around 30 persons working on machine learning applications, method studies, and also cloud technology, kind of data-driven oncology field. And with all these kind of backgrounds and reasons, why is this happening now? I mean, I think it's also worth visiting and thinking about, okay, what is the problem to solve? And actually finding a problem in oncology, in radiation therapy, was not a problem. In many industries, in other industries, I think the approach has often been, oh, look, we have this cool AI technology, it's deep learning, or it's LLMs and so on and so on. Let's find a real world problem to solve. And sometimes it succeeds and sometimes it fails because it's hard to maybe prove value and so on. Healthcare, I argue, and medical imaging maybe in particular, is the opposite, where the problem was clear. Where there is a lot of repetitive manual tasks, segmentation tasks in this example. It takes a lot of time and focus, and then this technology came along as a solution to this problem. So I think this is a kind of a key aspect of why AI in healthcare, AI in medical imaging is so widely spread today. So what do we do with machine learning at RaySearch? So, I mean, yes, we have been around now for 8 years, and we developed then AI models for medical image segmentation and dose prediction, and these models and this functionality are out there. They are being used by almost 300 clinics on a daily basis, creating fully automated radiotherapy plans, treating cancer patients every day. And I think it's important that these kind of building blocks that we have developed and put in production are really making a difference out there. And this is kind of our contribution, trying to automate workflows in radiotherapy, trying to contribute to a solution to the approaching healthcare crisis. And the more concretely, what we have now in production is deep learning segmentation, which is the main topic of today. But then also deep learning planning, which is the main topic for the next webinar next week. So it's poll time.
Yes, and so here so as Fredrik said, so today we will talk about AI in contouring. So the next question that we have for all of you, so how do you view AI integration in healthcare software in general? Do you think that AI will be just an integral and inevitable part of healthcare software in the future? Is it still just promising? So you're here, but you're not completely convinced? Or is just a huge hype that it's everywhere? That's what we were saying before the webinar, even that you hear these two letters combined, A and I, everywhere. But can it deliver? Let's see. So, giving a couple more seconds for your answers to drop in. All right. So we can see it clearly. That makes us all happy, I believe, the entire team behind the screens here, that most of you are thinking that it's inevitable. So let's make that and grow that confidence together, right?
Great, thanks. And yes, then I think it's motivated to continue this webinar. So we have the technology and the application and the problem. So then what practical aspects are there? How do you go live and what should you consider? And I believe in recent years, we have seen a very clear move from why do we use this technology to how do we use it? How do we implement it? And I mean, obviously, we talk to our customers, we discuss practicalities, we are supporting our customers and go live and so on. And this is a summary of some of the kind of best practices we have seen. It's not a complete list, of course, but these are some considerations I think that are important to think about. So test on a variety of local data prior to go live. So while Grietsje will talk about how we develop and test our models prior to release, but it's important for every customers, every clinic to try the models out on their local data before go live and use a variety of data. Monitor model performance and the amount of manual edits. And we all know that you can save a lot of time with these solutions, but they are not always perfect, of course. And it's super important that over time, monitor what's going on. Which structures do we need to change all the time? Which structures are always working? Is there a trend there? How much time do we spend on manual edits? Should we spend more or less? Doesn't make a difference. These kind of questions. I think we and the other vendors, we should provide tools for this so it makes this easier to do. Keep practicing. Perform manual segmentations on a regular basis. Maybe every week or every 10th case or whatever it is. Do make better segmentations than the AI can do and so on. Especially maybe important on the more junior side of people at the clinic to not come into the trend of just trusting it and so on, but try to keep up with your own practice. And then when new model versions are released, compare them to the previous results. We do this testing in-house, but we also encourage, I think it's a nice best practice that clinics do this. It's then important to reuse the same data set so that you can actually compare the current models to the new models so that you can compare them on the same data. Flag and report failure cases. We see quite a lot of support cases where maybe the usage was out of scope. We provide a model data sheet describing what's the intended purpose of the models, how were they trained, how they were tested, what known limitations are we aware of, and so on. Read this document is super important. If you have a problem, have a look. Did you use it within scope? And if you do and you have a problem, reach out to us, basically. And I mean, over time, the kind of clinical adoption of this technology has been very fast. And in 2020, 2021, we had the first early adopters. They got going, and then in 2022, we were 20,000, and then next year 112, and then 2024 about 200,000, and I think almost 300 clinics. And I mean, we see this trend. I mean, this is going to continue, and given how the technology matures now, and given basically stressed levels at the clinics and the need of this kind of automation, I think we're going to see more or less all radiotherapy clinics going and using AI for auto contouring, and we expect these numbers to increase over time. So a new poll.
Yes. All right. So as Fredrik said, so these numbers, we do expect them to increase. And it's, again, lovely to see that all of you are seeing as an inevitable part of healthcare software in the future. But we are here also to talk about how we develop and how do we offer these solutions. And that's going to be the next topic of this webinar. But before we jump into that one, another question that actually two questions that we would like to ask you is like, what is your current use of contouring? So the first question would be, what is your current approach to contouring in your clinic? So we gave these choices for you between manual contouring only or semi-automatic. So sometimes it's Atlas based or some other semi-automatic tools. Maybe it's a mixed approach depending on the case or others that you don't use that are not mentioned in this question. And the second one is like, for which anatomical sites do you use auto contouring today? And then here you have also the variety of choices: brain, head and neck, thorax, breast, abdomen, male pelvis, or female pelvis. All right. So when it comes to anatomical sites, I see there people are still giving their answers, but the distribution is quite equal. So if we would take a look, all of us, at that. So as you can see for contouring sites, it's basically everywhere. The smallest. Then when we go to the approaches of your current contouring practices, we see that there is a mixed approach depending on the case. There is the majority of you actually after that is having AI-based auto contouring, which is great to see. Some of you are still only adopting this tool, and we're here to help that, and we're here to again build that trust. And for that, I would like to present our next presenter, which is who is Grietsje. So Grietsje, please join the webinar with your part and tell us more about the insight of the development process.
Thank you, Morta. Waiting for my video to work. Yes. Good. Well, there we go.
Here we go.
Radiotherapy treatments are all about precise delivery of dose. So we do a lot of effort to work out the treatment plans to try to have them a good site on where the treatment is delivered, and lots of clinics do massive efforts to get adaptive treatments up and running. But we shouldn't forget that the base of a good treatment is the delineation. So if we start with the wrong volume definition, and it's a bit bold to have this on screen, but basically nothing else matters. So think about it. What if you were the person who needs this treatment? It doesn't matter who is delineating, if it's AI or a person that is super qualified or maybe new in the work. It has to be perfect and good as possible. But first, this is us. Some introduction of the team. We have two teams working on our solutions, ML imaging, ML clinical teams. Basically, this is us. So engineers, really outstanding ML engineers and ML clinical team with great expertise in radiotherapy are working together on our solutions. And for our solution, we have some values that we strive for. So we strive for the three essential values. It's high quality, responsiveness, and solution ownership. And I will dive deeper in this in the coming minutes, I would say. So high quality, each DLS model results from around 12 months of work between our ML clinical development team and our partner clinics. And then we ensure elevating quality through real clinical experience on both ends. So development by clinical experts together with ML engineers. And we call us together clinical development team. So the clinical development team is working on these great products at RaySearch. And then we are also making heavily use of clinical experts from the field. So people that work in the clinic that are experts and actually are hands-on at this moment, at this point in time. So they give their input to every project as well. So to be able to reach high quality clinical involvement is a key. Clinical involvement has always been important at RaySearch in developing every solution as well as for AI solutions. But since some years we are working with it in the clinical development team now. So we have our expertise in-house as well. in the clinical development team, we work together with a radiation oncologist, for example, with MD that has experience in radiotherapy as well. We have 3 ML engineers and RTT dosimetrists as well. And then what's great to say is that with all those different backgrounds, we have a good combination to work on this. And then as well, we come from different countries, which is helpful when you want to have a product that is available around the globe. You want to stick to certain guidelines, and we have that expertise then in-house. Yes. So the next value would be responsiveness, which is an important value as well. We don't want to develop without listening to our users, our customers. It's super important. So priorities in development are based on our user feedback and our user requests. Of course, not every request can go into development, and we are carefully gathering and finding out our priorities in common requests. And at this point, we cannot go with a single clinic approach, unfortunately, but also logical. But if there are a lot of requests that are have similarities, then there is a lot that we can make happen. So first we listen, then we develop, and each cycle is driven by user priorities. We consider and respond to what is most needed, not what is the easiest. So how do we then work in development? I will explain our model development projects. So we work in projects all the time. Projects are formed around the ROIs that we want to release. So they are grouped, and projects are formed around a group of ROIs. So that could be female pelvis, where we work on now, for example, or we have been working on thorax, and then we try to group as much as possible in the training. Then each project starts with discussions between the clinical development team at RaySearch and partner clinics. And these partner clinics are clinics that are users, and they have agreed to help us out with these projects and give their clinical input as well. And then each project ends with user-side testing, qualitative testing, and quantitative testing. So each project, we work with a group of clinics that have been asked to be involved for the full project. I call them project partners. And they will be involved in discussions around guidelines to start with every project. We also have more clinics that are asked to test. So we have partner clinics and testing clinics. And then with all those people, we try to get a nice spread in the clinics, since we are a global company that wants to have the AI solution globally available. We are asking test clinics globally as well. So testing has been performed in the US, in APAC, and in Europe, for example. So some of the projects we did last years, and we have done more projects than this, but I just wanted to give some examples. So we have done, for example, the head and neck lymph nodes. They are added in 2024. And for the full project, we had 3 clinics. And then for the testing, we added another 7 clinics. So a total of 10 clinics have been involved in developing this. Then we have done MR, male pelvis, that we will release, hopefully, end of April or June. Here we have 8 clinics involved as well. And we already started now for a female pelvic project because we really want to add that as well. And then at this point, we have 5 clinics that are in the project and 1 already agreed on testing. And we are still looking for some clinics here to test. In our development project, we work via a strict development process, which has multiple steps to get to the best results for release. We start with guideline discussions. That information is then taken into the design phase, and this is being discussed with our partner clinics. Then we prepare for the training, we curate and delineate data ourselves. And when we have a release candidate, we send that out for user-side testing. And all ends with a proper validation before the end model evolves into a released product. So to do that a bit more in detail, all of our projects are guideline driven. So how do we decide on guidelines, which is an important question we get, since there's often 3 or 4 describing the same area, but they're slightly different. It's not always easy. So we are releasing all guidelines that we can find with the team. We have a head start because we have our experience. We bring that with us. Every single person of us have been working in the clinic, in the clinical team. So we have a bit of background. And then we look further for more guidelines. Once we have found everything, found the state of the art of the contouring guidelines, we discuss internally and prepare for discussions with our clinical experts from our partner clinics. So then we go out with our guidelines and ask input like, okay, is this what you use? What's important? Which areas do you use? How many centimeters here? How many millimeters there? So we try to be super picky. And the discussions are there also then to make sure that the guidelines are indeed used broadly. And the next step to make sure that they are explained and used in a similar way as what our understanding was. And then to be able to contour with that information with a great consensus and precision. So often there are several guidelines. You choose the most used, create the consensus, if possible. Sometimes they are too different. And if they are too different, then we are releasing maybe 2 versions of one organ at risk. We have done that already. When we have to discuss the guidelines, we are also preparing example contouring because it always works best if you just delineate and show and share amongst our clinical partners and the clinical team, and then you talk about, is this what you want? Is this how you do it? And then we can agree on that and go ahead in our development process. So the next step, once it's clear which guidelines we have chosen, we proceed with the training of our models. All data used for the training is specifically selected and collected. The training set itself is created with a certain degree of robustness. And then all data is curated or delineated. It could be clinical data that we use. It could be that we are delineating fully ourselves. And then it is reviewed by the clinical team. So we have this 4 eyes principle. We are never leaving that aside. And then it results in high quality data that goes into the model training, which is then resulting in a guideline compliant high quality model or models. Because of all the model training being in-house, that makes it easier. It makes it an easy process. We can create early models to test and improve, and we can help in the creation as well. Then this massive workload in the end results in a model release candidate per modality. Sometimes we have different options to choose from, which is then graded by the clinical team as well, so that we end up with the best model release candidate. And once we have that, we can send that out. So once we have a release candidate, the clinical team organizes user-side testing. And user-side testing is exactly what the name suggests. It's testing of the release candidates of the models by our users. And the collaborating clinics are working on that together with the project clinics that have been in our project from the beginning. Then our aim for this testing is to have as much a global spread as possible to confirm that the models work in every part of the world. And the clinics perform the testing. They are testing on data that is unseen to the model and clinical data from their daily work. So they use it they test the model on just some average cases that they have. Then they score this, which tells us if the model performance is great. Then they score it with a 3 in this case. And then if no correction is needed, that's great. But often there are some smaller corrections or even bigger corrections, and then also that's good for us to know. So we ask them to give that score as well. And if they do that, then we ask to comment, because score is one thing, but to know what we need to change, that's the most important thing. So this gives us a great input on where we should perhaps put more effort and where the model is performing already as it should. Also, we give them some open questions to complement the testing results. So all of this super important work. So a shout out to our user site testers. It's great. And the qualitative testing by our users is something we cannot go without. Besides the user site testing, we can also test in-house. We have our team of clinical experts, so don't forget about us. And we have been working on the project. We are on top of the contouring guidelines. We know exactly what we want to see. So we do the same scoring as the clinics do. So we perform our part of the testing, also scoring the model and commenting on what we see. And that we do on data that was kept separate from the model training. So it is also unseen training, unseen data, not used in training. So then all that feedback, both from in-house and user site testing, is compiled and reviewed to see if there's need for improvement. If there's a need, we will do that. And then our machine learning team of engineers is as well testing, but they are testing on the quantitative side of things. So they perform the quantitative testing, compute metrics between ground truth from the clinics and model output. And the goal is to have a model that is performing better than the state-of-the-art values. If all falls into place before release, so all testing is evaluated by the clinical development team, all feedback has been graded and is considered. We ask for safety concerns, so if we didn't receive safety concerns from our partnering and user sites and clinics, then good. If we did get some, we have to address it, and we will. And depending on its nature, we continue with the development or we pause it until it is resolved. And then regulatory approval processes are followed. Then we can state, if all of that is cleared, and that we have an official release candidate. So what is then our solution, our deep learning segmentation? So what we offer is, with the coming release, version 2025 of RayStation, we have 199 structures, CT and MR models, and every organ at risk here is counted once. So it's 199 different structures. We have a CT coverage in most areas: brain, head and neck, thorax and breast, abdomen, pelvic male. Pelvic male we also have in MR, the next release, and in 2026 we are adding female pelvis as well for both CT and MR is the plan. Then we have node areas for head and neck, breast, and male pelvic that are already released. And we have naming compliant to the GG 263. Then we have software that is integrated. We have RayStation, which is a great product, and DLS is integrated to this, which means that our users that have already RayStation get DLS for free. And then RayStation is fully equipped with contouring tools as well. So all available to you. If you need to refine, you can do that. It's just there, fully equipped. Then RayStation has also structure templates that are enabling site-specific seamless workflows. You can use them, set them up once, and then you define them to local preferences. If you want, you can change like your namings, if you want them in your own language, your native language, for example, or you're used to a certain color that we didn't pick. You can change that and just stick to whatever you you're used to. And then structure templates are great for automation as well. So you can set up, for example, make a structure template for a thorax, add all those ROIs, and then you can also set up, if you want the CTV or PTV margin, you can already include it. So once you have a GTV, you can just update it automatically. And all things scriptable in RayStation. So to automate, RayStation is the way to go as well. Then all of this comes with great speed. As you know, at RaySearch, we love speed. And this video, I took it last week and it's in real time. So I'll show you RayStation to generate DLS structures. All of the steps that I show here, as well as the fully integrated automated workflow, you can just script that. So 129 structures for thorax, and if I enter it should start. Yes. So here I click, I go for the DLS. I choose the full model. I'm not picky because the model will know what it can delineate and it will also show you what it can't find. So on the left side, I scroll up, you see there's a lot of ROIs that it will create. Already in your patient views, you see the rough structures coming, and that's the start. So it will do this 129 structures. It's already finalizing, it's 99% now. So here you see they are refined, and then soon we will have the pop-up here, the pop-up. And then in that pop-up, you will get what it couldn't find, so you can check if that's correct or if it missed something. And now I just scroll up and down in this thorax area, where you can see what we will have in our coming release. So basically, it's everything you need. You have vessels, you have bones, you have lungs, you have also like lymph node areas for breast. And we have in the next release our chest wall added, our hard substructures added. So just a sneak preview here. So fast it is. The DLS runtime is like for full body, you'd have 192 structures available. It's under a minute. And I only can suggest to just use it and then use your knowledge to improve where it's needed. So each year we are releasing our newest guideline-driven AI solution, and for structure delineation. It was built on clinical knowledge. We have new structures that we add. We have other structures that we improve, and we are having a great momentum as now, releasing a lot of meaningful ROIs every release. We are super motivated to keep this up, this momentum, and we are aiming to cover all CT and MR structures needed in radiotherapy workflow. So as Fredrik mentioned before, we are releasing model data sheets together with every release, which is super important. There's important information on guidelines, on intended purpose, limitations, on training data available to all our customers. Then I quickly show you our roadmap. All the white structures is what we have. So you can see we have courage and abdomen, brain and optics, thorax, pelvis, pelvis male, also female pelvis is coming in, and head and neck. And here's our MR roadmap. You see that it's a lot of colors, which means that we are coming with this in the coming period. So that's just a short view on the roadmap. If you want to have more information, you can always contact us. So we own our solution. It's important. And then once we release a project, we keep that in the development loop. So what we do is we are always looking for improvements. We want to improve quality where we can. If it's great, it's great, but you never, I mean, there could always be something that we can improve. We improve robustness. We want it to work on every machine that's out, for example. If we find some feedback from our customers that they state like, oh, we have this and this machine with this and this filter and it's not working, we can actually do something about it, so let us know. We update depending on guidelines. If the guidelines update, we keep an eye on that, and we try to follow those as well. The guidelines that we have used are stated in our model datasheet as well. So it's good to open that model datasheet and actually have a look at it. Quality checks, we do that ourselves. We review against the new RayStation releases. So once we have a new release, we are using our methods to also check if we didn't change. So it should be the same output as the RayStation version before. And then the user feedback, super important. We review all your feedback when it comes in, and then we archive it. And depending on the priority, we include it in the release. And you can see that we already, and 2025 have improved on what we have released before. So to come back to us for these 3 essential values, each DLS model results from 12 months of work between our ML clinical team and partner clinics, ensuring elevated quality through real clinical experience on both. First we listen, then we develop, and each release cycle is driven by user priorities. We consider and respond to what's most needed and not what is the easiest. For us, development is a continuous process, and every release just the beginning. It marks the start of not only maintaining but also improving quality while engaging in an ongoing dialogue with our users. It embodies complete ownership of our product lifecycle, ensuring excellence, accountability, and commitment to our solution. So those 3, high quality, responsiveness, and solution ownership, super important. Back to you, Morta.
Yes, great, Grietsje. Thank you so much. And as you perfectly put, you invited us all into development process and into what's ending at that development process, which is our solution. And I know that we asked you all to give your questions before joining the webinar, and there were couple of questions, actually more than coupled, who are asking how do you stay relevant with whatever you are releasing, the models that you're releasing. So how we do that is we keep improving. As Grietsje said it many times, we do listen and we get feedback from users, from clinical staff, and this is what we like to do now as well. So I would like to ask you, which improvement would you like to see the most for AI-based contouring? So once again, tell us and we listen. And this is how we will continue working on structure improvement, continue working, adding more structures, and continue being as relevant for your workflows as possible, because that's all about that. And then the answers or options that we've given to you today. So it's either better accuracy, more anatomical sites, better integration, faster execution, quality assurance tools, or something else. All right, so questions are coming in, answers, sorry, are coming in. And if I would end it for now and share the results with you, we can see 3 of them standing out. So it's and quality assurance tools. Thank you for your feedback. I'm pretty sure we aim for all of them, and we keep doing that. Thank you, Grietsje. All right, and then let's go back to you, Fredrik, and see how people can or how users can best take value of the product that we have at the moment, and what can we see in the future.
Great. Thank Thanks. And thanks, Grietsje, for presenting. And I love that you said that you should just try this out. I agree, couldn't agree more. So let me do a few slides looking at the current value, but also directions for the future. So user gains, as we view it with our deep learning segmentation solution, it's fast and consistent. Fast is nice, we focus on that, but also reducing variability is a very nice effect of this technology. The data does not leave the on-premises, so there is risk of a data breach, and it's also obviously with this integration, so that also benefits the speed. And Grietsje mentioned this integration and structured templates, so I don't need to say more than there is a benefit of integrating systems for the automation and the clinical workflows. And version agnostic is important because as we release every year new models, you could always have access to the latest models with each release by utilizing our service for deep learning segmentation. So for us, getting AI out there in clinical use, that's our goal. Providing tools and services integrated in the products and workflows to support ease of use. And I mean, then you need to do a few things. You don't only automate the segmentation itself, but you want to automate from image acquisition to importing it into a system, the segmentation, of course. Then adding other workflows in radiotherapy, that would be treatment plan generation, that will be the next webinar, but also utilizing scripting where you can do a lot of things. But with automation in healthcare, obviously there will be a human in the loop. So as we view it, if you automate the whole flow end to end for example, prostate and breast, where we have customers that have done that with our technology, a qualified user would then review the results, maybe refine them if needed, but then select the treatment plan of preference, then do the quality assurance, and then treat. So, but a lot of time can be saved with this automation. Automation is also important in the analytics sphere, because with automation, there is more consistent data. That could be the labeling of the ROIs is one example. Could also be other aspects. So when you automate, you actually get a side effect or a win that you will have more structured and more consistent data, and that is more suitable. It's less work than to do analytics on that because you need to do less cleaning. We believe the future oncology is data-driven, and we are then therefore building a system, an oncology analytics system called RayIntelligence, which we think is a perfect fit for AI-enabled radiotherapy clinics to use for comparison of plans to the population level, outlier detection, outcome analysis, performance monitoring of models, and so on. So we reach a poll again.
Yes, and it's going to be the last poll of today, so let's keep the same engagement. And here we would like to tap into one area that we haven't asked your feedback just yet, and that's going into the quality assurance. And so the first question that we would like to ask you is, how many patient cases are typically tested per body site before clinical use, if you are already using AI tools in your workflows? And then we have some options for you to choose some boxes. And then the second question in the same poll is where we ask you, how is quality assurance handled for AI tools in your workflows? Do you have a defined process in place, or you don't have it? Do you have informal or case-by-case checks? Do you actually have a formalized QA procedures? Maybe you're just not sure, you haven't been involved in that work at your clinic yet. Or there is no QI involved at all at this point. All right, so answers coming in. I can see that when it comes to quality assurance handling of AI tools, it's informal or case-by-case checks are the most leading ones so far. Let me end this one, share the results with you so you can all see. When it comes to the patient case volume, people are not sure. Their majority is from 5 to 10 or from 11 to 25. All right. Thank you for this input. And then let's finish this webinar with the remaining parts, right?
Great. So looking a little bit ahead to kind of reach the conclusion of this webinar, where do we think AI is going for medical image segmentation? And as Grietsje put it, we believe all relevant normal structures, including lymph nodes, will be available for radiation therapy. We believe there will be tools for monitoring model performance to simplify this monitoring to also maybe automatically detect or support in the QA process of the results of models. There should be, and I think there will be, feedback loops to improve model robustness over time and keep the models relevant over time. So if there's a new way of doing things, of course, we want to incorporate that into the models in the coming release. But also find the failure cases, so please report them to us because they are so important and we can learn from them and then use them to make the models more robust in the future. Multimodal models to enter clinical workflows. Yes, we believe so. It's probably at the research stage now. I mean, we and I think many others have played around with prototype models, but these will probably enter, especially for target tumor volume models. And then we have the foundation models coming. Will they be used as a basis of clinical models? Yes, that's possible as well. That's obviously a trend in AI and also in image segmentation. There was some questions before the webinar on target volume or tumor delineation, and yes, we are working on this, and we believe this is very likely the biggest uncertainty in modern radiotherapy workflow, and it's an important problem to address. It's also challenging. It's complex. And why is it that? Well, tumors are complex. Maybe you don't see the borders so clear, and maybe the ground truth is sometimes not so easy to find, and so on. We do have, of course, organs and lymph node levels, but to have the tumor itself or maybe the clinical target volume is a tougher problem. The image here, we are involved in a project with Mass General Hospital, and this is from a publication from that project. But a lot of research should be done, but I think this will happen. It will be implemented gradually into the clinics, but there will be a balance between the potential of this and the complexity, and also automating this and the trust, of course. So I think this will be interesting to follow, and I think many groups are working on these problems now. My final slide is kind of approaching your questions pre-webinar, and kind of where are we, our perspective and commitment, where are we on these topics that you sent us. And as Grietsje presented, and I think it's nice to summarize here, that with every release, we are addressing ground truth quality, generalization of models, the validation metrics, integrating the workflows to regulatory clearances, and also with the model data sheet and user side testing and other things that clinical acceptance and trust. I would put these topics in the work in progress. So auto distribution detection, is the model applied? Is the image different than what it was trained on? The right model updates. This is about the feedback loop, which are the missing pieces to make the model more robust. Performance monitoring tools and uncertainty estimation in the inference of the models. Very, very interesting problems that we are looking into. Further away for us is real-time model improvements. There was a question, a few on that. So meaning that based on your own refinements of the results of the models learn on premises. And also the local models where you actually train on your own data. So these are, for us, further away. And I think this provides an overview where we are on the different, very interesting topics that you sent us prior to this webinar. So to summarize, AI is widely used in radiation oncology. The implementation is key. Thorough model development projects and robust validation processes are critical, as Grietsje described. AI and healthcare are indeed partners in progress, and let's continue to focus on the how together. So with that, I conclude my part, and we will reach the Q&A.
Yes, we reached that one. But I mean, the Q&A was happening throughout the entire webinar because we do have the whole team of experts that have been actively answering your questions. And we know that we are running out of time a little bit, but we can still stay here for a couple of minutes. Let our experts, so Jason, Marcella, and Anna, answer a couple of more questions. But then some of them we can take it live for anyone who would still like to stay with us for a couple more minutes. So I've seen that there were some questions and asking about, so if we go back to our solution, right, that we, for now, we call it deep learning segmentation. This solution that we offer, can it be used as a standalone product?
Done a small scale already in a few clinics in Europe, and now with the April release, we're planning to ramp this up and basically offer the segmentation as a on-premise service. So let's say that you are a clinic and you have RayStation 2024 version, and then when cleared in your country, then you could run the 2025 models as a separate service. So this opens then up for getting access to the latest models without upgrading the whole RayStation system.
Correct. All right. So I know that we mentioned. Oh, Grietsje, would you like to add something?
Yeah, I would like to add something because it's for our users. But I mean, if you're not the RayStation user yet, and you're only wanting to use DLS, then you can. So you don't have to purchase the full RayStation suite, but you can also say like, oh, I want to use DLS, and then it will automatically export those to whatever other system you were using in the clinic.
That's a very good note.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then I know that you mentioned that in your presentations already, but if, let's say they are already RayStation users, our deep learning segmentation models are free for them.
Yes, so that was a decision taken a few years ago, actually, that this is a natural part of RayStation, and it should be accessible for our users.
And we are not planning to change that as far as
No.
Yes. Okay. Then there's also a question about the customization, so the local customization of models. Would you like to elaborate your attitudes towards that?
Yeah, I can maybe we'll both answer this shortly, but I can give a view that given what Grietsje presented and how thorough this process is, I think you can understand that in order to control what is going on then on a local fine-tuning and so on is quite challenging. Technically, there are definitely ways to do this, but the question becomes both, I mean, a liability question, it's a regulatory question, and I mean, how can we control this? Because I think sometimes I take the example of I'm not sure it's a good idea that the self-driving cars learn from each and every driver. And I think it's a little bit the same thing here, that I think it's quite good that it's a centralized model that handles this. But I can also understand the ask. So we'll see where this goes, but I think it comes with some challenges.
Grietsje, anything from your side on this topic?
No, I agree. And yes, my personal vision is that basically I want to be in a couple of years is too close, but maybe in 10 years or so. I mean, every patient in the world deserves the same. So why not try to have everything on the same level and not like do this in this clinic and then you want that in that clinic. So the vision here is maybe to have it more globalized.
And when we talk about that globalized, that's that also the way we ensure it, as I can see, it's the user testing sites that we do have that broad geographical spread. Is that right, Grietsje?
Yes, correct.
And then I believe it all ties back to the one of our main values when we develop our segmentation solution, which is high quality. So if we have that as one of our priorities, hopefully you don't need to do anything of your local training because we ensure the high quality. All right. I see many more questions are coming in, and I see that we already had so many pre-submitted questions, which is lovely and great. But unfortunately, we're running out of time. So I would like to thank you both, Grietsje, Fredrik. I would also like to thank you, the entire team, our experts that were sitting behind and answering your questions. So we kept it going, the conversation throughout the whole webinar, which is great, and that's exactly what we wanted to do. And this is exactly what we would like to continue doing next week as well, because as I said at the very beginning, so this part was only the first part of the series of AI in cancer care. So the next one is happening on next Thursday, which is then we're going from our segmentation models to our planning generation models, or also known as we call it in-house deep learning planning. So next Thursday, we do it in the morning. So hopefully for some in the morning, Europeans in the morning. So get yourself some coffee, get yourself some excitement, some curiosity up again. And we really just a shout out for everyone who were not able to join until the end of this webinar. Don't you worry. We are recording this webinar and we will share the recording with you before the second session. So you can come back here, watch this one, get yourself ready, get yourself excited and get your brains more open and curious to learn more about AI, because this is what we do here. We want to be inclusive, open, and increase the general knowledge of technology that we are just part in developing and advancing. All right, so thank you so much. That's it from me, Grietsje, Fredrik. If you would like to add some final remarks, the stage is yours.
See you next week.
Thank you all for joining.
Thanks, everyone.
Yes.